Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of Knights Talk. I'm your host, Rob Leonard. Playoff time is here and well underway in the GMHL. The Knights of Meaford, very busy. Now, they finished in 8th spot, and the way the GMHL does it a little different than everybody else. Just because you finished 8th doesn't guarantee you a spot in the playoffs. So what happens is Seguin and West Nipissing finished below the Knights in the standings. They played a one-game, they refer to it as a play-in, and the winner of that game, which happened to be West Nipissing, would then face the Knights of Meaford to see who gets the 8th and final spot in the playoffs. That game happened, I believe it was on Friday night in Meaford. The Knights of Meaford would come out on top in that one in very convincing fashion by a score of 8-0. The game really was right from the opening face-off to the final buzzer. It was all Knights. Scoring for Meaford in that game, Harley Haggerty with the pair. Connor Annett also had a pair. Cole McPherson, Callum Queenan, Derek Boudreau, and Alex Nazkoff would round out the scoring for Meaford. So that would set up a first-round showdown with the new Tecumseh Civics. The Civics finishing first overall, the Knights finishing in 8th. The Knights have played them really strong all season long, a lot of one-goal games. Game 1 would happen on Sunday night in New Tecumseh. And as you can see, the New Tech Civics defeated Meaford by a score of 4-2. New Tech led 4-0 in that game until some funny business went on in the third period. Meaford would score a pair of goals there. Cole McPherson replying with both goals for Meaford. Jack Edmonds standing on his head in goal, 41 shots. Game 2 back in Meaford on Monday afternoon, Family Day matinee. New Tech would defeat Meaford by a score of 5-4. Meaford played really well on this one, staying close with New Tech until about halfway through the second period. New Tech would go up 5-2, and Meaford would score a couple in the third period to get close, but 5-4 was as close as they could get. Scoring for Meaford in this one, Alex Nazkoff, Derek Boudreau, Callum Queenan, Connor Annett. Jack Edmonds faced 56 shots in this one for Meaford. He played an incredible game. So New Tech now leads the series by the best-of-5 series, 2-0, with Game 3 going Wednesday night in New Tech. And if Game 4 is necessary, it'll be back in Meaford this coming Thursday night. And Rogers TV will be there if that game does happen on Thursday night. So I had a chance to talk with the Civics GM Ryan Wood this morning on the phone, and I want to thank Ryan for taking the time to talk to me, and I just wanted to get his feel on the series so far. And he said that he really expected a tough physical series coming into this one. He knows that Meaford would not go quietly, even though they finished 8th. He said he has a ton of respect, not only for the team and management of Meaford, but for the fans. He says him and his players love coming to play in Meaford because of the atmosphere in the building. And he also said, I asked him what he thought the difference was so far in the series, and he felt that if Meaford's power play was clicking, it could easily be 2-0 in favor of the Knights right now. So, let's see, what else is he saying here? The series is definitely, he feels that the series is definitely not over. Not over by any means. He expects Meaford to come into Alliston on Wednesday night, and they'll have all guns a-blazing there trying to keep this one alive. And Ryan also said that his players need to be wary of that this team is not going to go away. It's been a really tough physical series, a lot of body checks, a lot of heavy hits last night, a lot of stick work, and we can't expect things to change that much in game 3. And what else here? As I said, that he said he had a world of respect for the Meaford organization. Now, in fairness, I contacted head coach Nathan Parrish of the Knights of Meaford, and he had this to say. He felt that the difference in the series has been the play of Civic's goalkeeper, TJ Sherwood. TJ Sherwood, the #1 goalkeeper in every category this year in the GMHL. He was out for a good part of the season with, we were told, upper body injury for most of this season. It was a severe concussion, but he is back and he's playing strong in the nets. And the Knights really feel that they need to get a lot more traffic in front of the goal, create some havoc for Sherwood. Coach Parrish feels very comfortable that his team is playing right with the Civics in this one, and he believes that it isn't over by a long shot either. So now, if we maybe take a look, Mark, at the other brackets, the other series going on right now. As you can see, the top bracket there being New Tech and the Meaford Knights. New Tech leading by 2-0. The Parry Sound Islanders leading the Bradford Bulls 1-0. That should be a tough series. You've got the South Muskoka Shield and Almaguin. That's a close one with the Shield leading by 2-1. And the really tough one between 4 and 5 there at the bottom, Temiskaming Titans and the Bradford Rattlers. Temiskaming leading by 2-1, and they could wrap things up. I believe it'll be on home ice. Could be tonight or tomorrow night. I think it's tonight, though. So if we could take a look now at the South Division. Now in the South Division, you got the #1 Niagara Whalers up 2-0 on the Oshawa River Kings. And in the next grouping, we've got St. George and the Toronto Predators. St. George had a great year, finishing second overall, leading by a count of 1-0. Former Meaford Knight Toby Keating in that St. George lineup. And in the third bracket, you've got last year's finalists, Kingsville, up 2-0 on the Toronto Attack. And in the final grouping, North York with a 2-0 lead over London. Interesting there is that London was picked to be one of the contenders here, but they're behind the 8 ball with a 2-0 deficit to North York. So really good battles going on right now in this first round, and we thought it would be. Had Joe Todd of Inside the GMHL here. We talked about it, and he's called it the parity season, and he's absolutely right. A lot of these series are going to go right down to the final wire. So now let's take a look at the league's leading scorer. The champion was Carl Lydon from South Muskoka. He made a heck of a run in the last month or so of the season to win the scoring championship. He was down in the bottom 3, I think, for a good part of the season, but did an amazing job scoring 129 points. And you can see Reagan Yu was bouncing around in there all season long as well. And a couple of faces that we didn't see early in the season, Dalton Barnes in the #7 spot, Matt Hoare in the #8 spot, Scott Dorian in the #9 spot. So a lot of offense this year and a great job. And congratulations, Carl Lydon, for winning the scoring championship in the GMHL for this year. So I think it's time for Meet the Knights. And this week we have newcomer goalkeeper Emil Soderberg from Sweden. Let's hear what Emil had to say to the 10 questions. Thoughts of Meaford? You've only been here a little while, but you visited here a few times, so.
I did. I really like playing in here. Just the whole, with the fans, all the fans coming here, watching, it's just amazing to play here.
All right. And again, you've only been here a short while, but what gets you most excited about playing for the Meaford Knights?
Probably the fans.
The fans,
definitely
awesome.
The fans.
Great fan base here for sure. Your favorite NHL player?
That's a hard question, but I'll probably say Lundqvist.
All right. And everybody goes to Leaky Canoe after the games. What's your favorite Leaky Canoe meal?
I haven't been there a lot, but I think I have to say the chicken wrap.
All right, chicken wrap. And if a teammate is going to play a gag on you or play a joke on you in the dressing room, who would you look at first?
Probably Callum.
Callum?
Yeah.
All right. And if you had to go to war, nobody wants to go to war, but if you had to, which teammate would you want fighting alongside of you?
Oh, that's a great question. Maybe Adam or Alexander.
All right. And of course, you'd like to have hockey in your future, but if it isn't, what do you aspire to do after hockey?
I definitely want to be a goalie coach. Definitely want to keep doing some hockey. But if not, working with computers or being an electrician is definitely on the list.
All right, fantastic. And finally, anybody you'd like to say hello to?
It's my family, and tell them thank you for letting me be here, giving me the opportunity to be here during these seasons.
Okay, fantastic. All right, and that's going to about do it for this edition of Knights Talk, the season winding down, and we certainly hope that this is not the last episode or the second to last episode of the season. Knights need a victory Wednesday night in New Tecumseh to carry on for Thursday night, and then all of us from the Rogers crew can be there and tape that game. So before I go, I know she's probably not going to like this too much, but the lady that's in charge of the Facebook page for the Knights of Meaford, and every time the Knights are away on the road, she keeps me up to date and does a fantastic job at doing so, is going to be celebrating a birthday next week. Not sure what day, not sure how old she is. I was going to make a joke and say she's 63, but Jody's not going to like that at all. Jody Ormsby, happy birthday, and thank you so much for all the work you do at keeping this guy organized and keeping everybody informed as to what's going on every season for the last 2 years with the Knights of Meaford. So on behalf of producer Mark Perry, and I believe Aaron's in the control room, thank you, Aaron. I'm Rob Leonard. We'll see you next time on Knights Talk.